Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
How are you guys?
we're good. How are you?
Late. Sorry.
It's okay. We've had worse.
But yeah, well, where's Michael?
Oh, here he is. You just said his name and he popped up.
That's how we work.
It's like you said his name and boom. It's like he
Looks
knew
like
you
it.
were talking about him.
There we go. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry, I had my headphones plugged into something else, and everything was coming out of my laptop. And I was like, "What is happening?"
It's all right. I'm stoked because for the first time ever, I got on the podcast before you.
Oh,
So
that
you're
happens.
you're the late
Don't
one
act like
today.
that doesn't happen. That happens. You beat me sometimes. I heard y'all
Yeah.
talking shit.
Yeah. He was all like, man, he's late. And I was like, and as soon as he said your name, you popped up on the screen to admit
Yeah,
Right.
your
It's like
ears must have been ringing.
manifest.
they were ringing for
That's
sure.
okay. A few minutes late is hardly a lateness for us because we had someone 45 minutes late once. So,
Oh
Oh,
wow, yeah. I
well,
was like,
okay.
I was working on a new song, and then I was like, oh my god, it's 7:31, and I just ran over here. So.
oops. It
You were
happens. It
working, you were
happens.
working on a new song.
Yeah, Ross, wouldn't you like to know?
I would.
I just
Uh,
I was messing with that demo you sent me.
oh, sick.
I'll send it to you later. It's dope.
Oh, sick.
Yeah,
Cool. I'm excited.
yeah.
Sorry, guys. We're having a. It's this is all about the podcast. Sorry, we need to
Oh,
stop
it's
having our own
fine.
conversation.
We love extra talk.
Yeah.
Are we recording already?
Yes.
Okay.
Sick.
Who
Hell
was
yeah.
45, who was 45 minutes late?
Who was 45 minutes late? Should we tell him,
Not.
Chris?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's out there in the episode. It's
It is technically. It was
Ah,
Mike from All American Rejects.
Nice.
is he the singer?
No, he's the guitarist.
Oh,
He was also busy doing some producer stuff and he
too
lost track of time.
busy. So
That's
I'm
what I
gonna
just
tweet him.
said too.
I'm gonna
I have
tweet
the
him.
same excuse. I have the same excuse,
I'm
but
gonna tweet him. And
I was only
tell
two
him
minutes late.
I don't like
So
him. I'm joking. I'm joking. All right, we'll cut all of that out. I won't mention that.
It's
Sorry.
okay. He told me to call him an asshole on the podcast and I did. So,
Oh, so then let's start the podcast like this. Hi, I'm Rossy from Internet Friends, and Mike from All American Rejects is an arsehole.
and you
There you
can
go. There's
quote him
your
on that.
there's your intro.
just kidding. I doubt Mike's going to watch this anyways.
Fair enough.
So, well, let's get this party started then. So,
Hell
if you
yeah.
could please introduce yourselves and give a quick rundown of how Internet Friends came to be.
My name is Rossy. Um, I'm British born, but now I live in Brisbane, Australia. And the
You
guy in the
looking at
red hat.
me?
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
But you were like giving your intro, and I was about to go, and I'm Michael, and I went, and you kept going, so it was the whole thing.
Okay, let's start that again then, because we've done this before. Hi, I'm Rossi,
Hi, I'm Michael.
and we are.
Internet friends.
And terrible. How did Internet Friends come to be? That was the question, right?
Yes,
Uh,
a quick
the quick,
rundown.
yeah, the quick rundown is I've been working like behind the scenes in record labels and management and stuff for like the last 14 years or so. Um, but at heart, I've always been a songwriter. I've always been a punk kid. That's the music I've always loved. And in 2020, when everyone was kind of forced to slow down because we were all inside, I got cut a long story short, I got stuck in the UK because at the time I was living in America. I went back to renew my working visa. I got stuck in the UK, and the day after I landed was the day where all the airlines stopped and all the embassies shut down. So I couldn't get a new visa printed, and I couldn't fly anywhere. So I was stuck. So I went back to my dad's house where I lived as a teenager, and yeah, found my childhood guitar under the stairs, and just kind of started writing songs to pass the time. And the first day, I was like, oh, yeah, that kind of wasted the afternoon. And the second day, I was like, pretty good. And then the third day, I was like, uh, can I swear on this podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, the third day, I was like, holy fuck, that's like the best song I've ever written. And then from then it just kind of kept rolling and kept rolling. And then I got the fire back for songwriting. And yeah, I guess I kind of subconsciously made a decision then that I wanted to leave like the business side of music. And I just really wanted to be in a band again. So I kept writing songs, and I think by the end of the year I had like something like 60-ish songs that I was really happy with. Um, I knew the kind of front person that I really wanted for the band. Um, and I was willing to wait for that. So whilst I'm writing songs, like I'm scrolling TikTok every day, and I'm just typing in things like, pop singer, pop punk singer, rock singer, that kind of thing. And then about 18 months later, to cut another bit of this story short, I managed to not get back to the US, but I managed to get to Australia, which I now live because this is where my now wife lives. And then one day this magical human popped up, and I just grabbed my wife and I was like, this is the guy. This is the fucking guy. And yeah, and then I think I found Michael's Instagram and I DM'd him on Instagram, and he was gracious enough to DM me back. And then I think it was only like a couple of days, and then we jumped on Zoom and we clicked instantly, thank God. And I kind of explained everything to him. By that point, I already had like a few of my songs like demoed out, and like I had another like session singer like sing them just to show what the song was, the songs could sound like. And yeah, Michael liked them, and he was like, I need 24 hours to think about it. And I was like, cool. 24 hours later, he was like, let's give it a go. And then a week later, I flew to Austin, Texas from Brisbane, Australia, where Michael lives. And I slept on the floor in that room that Michael's in, on a terrible air mattress. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, you flip-flopped your cities there too.
Yeah. Oh, did I?
Yeah, you're like, I flew from Austin to Brisbane.
Oh, sorry. Other way around.
It's flip-flopped,
From Brisbane
but
to
close
Austin.
enough, close enough.
Yeah. Stayed on the floor in that room that Mike was in for a week. And yeah, and then I just had I had my laptop and my little like setup with me, small enough to fit in a backpack, and we started recording demos. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure Michael will add to this, but it was just magic. I knew that like when I flew over, it was going to be one of two things. Either I was going to be right, and this was going to be what I thought it was going to be, or at the very worst, I was just going to have a very, very awkward week, which is fine. But it turned out to be the former. And yeah, and then 4 months later, we're sat in Matt Squire's studio recording our first EP. Like, what? And everything rolled from there. It was amazing.
Nice. That's quite a meeting. I mean, Chris and I have been doing the podcast now for a little over a year, and we've never met in person. So
Oh, no way. So what, do you guys live in different states?
yeah, I'm in Wisconsin.
And I'm in New York.
Nice.
Got it.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I figured it would be a little strange if you lived on the same street, wouldn't it? And you never met.
That would actually be crazy if that happened. Like, oh,
Right.
where do you live? Oh, you live near me. But that would kind of be weird if we've never actually talked about how close we live to each other if we lived in the same state either.
Right.
So
Yeah. Shout out to the
Yeah.
internet. The internet's
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, we met on what are we gonna say this time, Jess? MySpace?
we'll just say MySpace.
All right, so we met on MySpace back in like 05, 04, 05 probably.
Something like that.
And we've
Nice.
just never met in person. We did have the chance to run into each other. We probably did see each other, but we weren't aware. At 2005 Warped Tour in Buffalo, we were both there, but we didn't know.
I don't know how we didn't know we were friends on MySpace.
I don't know.
So yeah, so you guys really are the original internet friends. We should
I
be interviewed,
guess.
right?
True.
Yeah.
That's so
I
cool.
suppose, man. I suppose.
Real quick before we continue, I gotta point out, this is the first time we had another person with boards on the wall in the background, just like me.
8
Al-
decks.
Also, over your shoulder, is that a Crash Bandicoot?
I was
stuffy?
gonna say something about Crash.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, this is my. Let's see if I can move my cam. This is my little haven. I got all my pops up there, which is pretty cool. Actually, I'll show you one that's really cool. Hang on.
Making him do work. More work.
He's getting up there.
Getting up there.
He's got some
I got
important pop.
I got this one, which I'm the biggest Neck Deep fan, and this one was like a custom Ben Barlow pop made by one of their fans, which is pretty sick.
That's sick.
So,
That is really
Nice.
right, how cool is that? Yeah, so I just
Yeah.
happened to see the post go up in the Neck Deep fan group on Facebook, and he was like, "Anyone want one?" And I was like, "Yes, I'll take one." So that's pretty cool. And then so I got all my pops, some cool stuff up there. Yeah, I got some skate decks, World Industry decks, and that is a Crash Bandicoot over there. So yeah, this is my little haven. What
I
have
was
you
gonna
got on the
say, I was gonna say,
You-
I think that's Flame Boy that I saw.
That
Is
is
it?
Flame.
On the
Yeah,
board.
hell yeah.
That being said, so being a duo, can you walk us through your creative process and how the two of you write and collaborate together?
Yes. Um, well, at the moment, uh, I guess the way that we like to describe it is like we like to operate Internet Friends like a sports team. So it's like we both know our positions. I'm if we're talking about soccer terms, because I'm English, so football, I'm the goalkeeper, he's the goal scorer. Do you know what I mean? Both as important as each other, but we know what we're there to do. So for the time being, um, I'm the songwriter, and he's the front person. He's the pretty one, um, with the great voice, and yeah, and that's kind of how we work. It's not to say that me and Michael, or even Michael by himself, won't write a song or a song with me for Internet Friends one day. It's just because I've got so much stacked up that for now, that's just how it works, you know. And I've heard Michael's stuff that he's written by himself, and he's a great writer. So really, so what's the thing I usually say? I say that, I mean, we've still got a lot to prove, right? But I usually say the hopeful success of Internet Friends, in my opinion, is going to be down to two things, which is, are my songs good enough, and how Michael delivers them. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how we work at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, normally we do all the
Is that about right?
demos like in person with each other. Like a lot of the stuff from like the first EP, except for Warning Signs, we did it all in person like together. And then that one we had to send files back and forth because he wasn't here when when that song was like finished. The
Right.
other ones he spent like a week here and we just did them all. And the same thing is true for what's coming up too. We did everything in person together. At the moment, we're working on some new stuff, and since we're not in the same spot, we're kind of in that same like I'll record stuff at the house, I'll send it to him, he'll be like, that's dope, change this. I'll be like, cool, and then I'll send it back, and then that's how kind of how we like do our demos now. So
Yeah, I think we work really well. So like I'll make all the demos, and I'll write out all the lyrics, but because I can't sing, I have a terrible singing voice. I can write, the vocal in my head, but I can't sing it. So when I send the demos to Michael, the vocal is just a piano going da 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 da. And so Michael has to match the piano melody up with the lyrics I sent him, and then but we kind of got to a point now where he's like, "Oh yeah, I got it." And 9 times out of 10, he'll just nail it and send it back and be like, "How's this?" And I'll be like, "Great."
yeah,
That's a
How
great
good's the-
creative way to tackle that though, being so far apart.
it
Yeah.
makes it easy, especially with time zones are the biggest thing. Just because when it's like daytime over where you're at, it's nighttime where I'm at, and vice versa. So like I'll like work on stuff like while he's like sleeping, and then I'll send it to him, and then he'll have to wake up and be like, do this, and then I'll do it the next day. It's like it's super back and forth, but it does work out, which is really nice.
It does work out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're in the future, Rossy.
he is the future.
Thank you.
He's in
How
the
is
future.
the future? What's it looking like today? Tomorrow, I should say.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought you were paying me a compliment. You're talking. You're just talking about time. um, what's the future like? Yes, it's still kind of a bit shit. It's fine though.
He's not
I don't-
far enough ahead for it to be completely different,
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Nothing bad has happened though. Like
That's
no,
good.
there's as far as I know, there's no wars that are happening yet. So we good. You're good.
Well, that's good.
That is good.
Now, actually, we're going to speak of the past now. You guys released the It's a Secret EP back in June. What were some of your favorite tracks on that EP?
Ooh, that's a good question. For me, I've always really liked Forever a lot. I think that was like the one that we both kind of felt was like gonna be like when I think of when someone's like, oh yeah, show me your music, that's the first song I'm gonna show them is Forever. So yeah, I just think it's a good like representation of us. And then also I really like Achilles Heel too. Achilles Heel, I think they're pretty much tied for first in my mind, just mainly based off of like performance and stuff. Like when we did the demo for Achilles Heel, there were a lot of like cool moments that happened in the room. And so when I listen to that, I'm kind of brought back to that. So yeah, I like those songs a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I think what was the other one we did? Warning Signs. Well, I can tell you, I actually I should probably explain because this will be interesting. Maybe the yeah, I got like you remember I said like I got so many songs stacked up, right? I also know that for well, number one, we weren't expecting to work with Matt Squire, like, but for all those listening who don't know what he's done or who he is, Panic at the Disco's first album, Boys Like Girls is a big album, the first two all-time low albums. Do you know what I mean? Wasn't expecting that, but the first four tracks that we put out on It's a Secret, to me they were just B-sides. They like because we don't want to come out swinging with what I think are our best songs, because then we got to follow them up. Do you know what I mean? So we just want to kind of build them up. So it wasn't, credit to Matt, and this is what a good producer does, I guess. It wasn't until we got out of the studio with Matt that me and Michael kind of looked at each other and was like, these are actually great. Do you know what I mean? But I would say I don't like So Obvious. I don't know why. I wrote that in half an hour, and I don't know why. Everyone seems to love that song though, but whatever.
I love that song.
There you go.
I like it too.
Well, let me ask you that. Why?
I don't know. It's just catchy. It's got a real
But
catchy.
it is catchy. Yeah.
I love the
yeah.
verses. I think the verses are the coolest part. I feel like that's like and also the video did the best by far out of all of them, which is really funny.
That always happens. It's like you make a piece of content, and it's the one you spend the most amount of time on is the one, that you go, oh, this is going to be great, is the one that does the worst. And then the So Obvious music video was when we ran out of money, and we were like, well, what can we do? Oh, a green screen video. And then that one just smashes it.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. What like Warning Signs is cool. For me, I definitely think same as Michael, Forever is, to me, that's the obvious standout track on that package. Great chorus. Michael smashed it on that. And I say same as Michael, my second favorite is Achilles Heel. I think Achilles Heel on It's a Secret is my favorite vocal performance by Michael. So yeah, like Michael said, there are a lot of cool moments, and it's even more special for me because when it comes to like Michael's vocal performance on that, like I got to sit on the sofa at the back of the room and watch Matt work with Michael, and just kind of like I didn't say anything, and I just like watched it happen. And like he'd hit a line, and they'd both be like, whoa, and you just like I just got to sit there and just be in the magic of it. So yeah, Michael's vocal performance on Achilles Heel, regardless of whether people think it's a good song or not, is really special for me because I was there, I was in the room, I was in the magic. So yeah.
Plus that song sent me to the hospital.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
On top of that, which is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you all that story if you want. It's pretty funny.
Oh, we love stories. We love stories.
I'll
right,
give you the
Chris?
story. I'll give you the scoop. This is the first time I'm telling this on the podcast on anything really.
Yeah, you've never told this story before.
I've never told this story before. So yeah, this is so weird, man. Like I was like singing the bridge. I think it was the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was the bridge. Just over and over and over and over again for I don't know how long it was. I was just hitting it. That bridge is like really intense, and I was just like kind of putting my whole body into it, And yeah, I was singing, and I remember like at one point, like I like sang something, and I felt this like pop in my head, like the top of my head, like I felt like a click, and I was like, "That's weird. Like that doesn't feel like normal." I guess it didn't hurt or anything, but Matt was like, "You want to keep going?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess so." Like, I don't know. So I kept singing, and then I like slowly, like I was like noticing I was getting tired, and I was like, "Okay, well maybe I need to like step out." So I go back into the control room, I sit down, and then I start getting this headache in the same spot where it happened, and I was like,
Mm.
"That's so weird that like all this stuff like just happened all at once or whatever."
Can I
And
can I butt in- sorry, can I butt in for one moment?
yeah,
You
yeah,
should we should also note that I like Michael does this in the studio when there's like a line or something that's really intense, or like he's hitting a high note, or he's doing something over and over and over again to try and get what he or the producer wants. He balls up his hand,
oh
or
yeah,
he like, grabs onto his t-shirt, and like you've described it before, like because you feel this tension and you need to get the tension out somewhere. So like
yeah,
so when Michael's doing this and his head pops, he's like this with his t-shirt, and I'm kind of like at this point I'm looking through the glass, kind of being like I'm a little bit worried. So yeah, go on,
yeah,
carry on.
yeah. So I go into the control room, I sit down, and I'm just like hanging out, and I think I just like really ultimately what happened was I psyched myself up so much. I was like I sat there for a minute. I was like I think I can do it. I think I went back in the booth for a second. Then I was like no, I definitely need to like chill. And then I started like I was just thinking about this pop. I had this headache. I started like sweating. I had this like weird like numb sensation in my face, and all this stuff, all this crazy stuff's happening. So my mind, I'm like something like seriously medical is happening. Like there's no joke. Like, and then I start getting like panicked and like I'm like super confused and I feel like I can't like walk. It's like a weird thing. So I like freaked out and I was like, I'm just letting you guys know I feel like super weird right now. I think you guys need to take me to like an emergency room or something. And
Yeah,
all this stuff.
I thought you were having a stroke.
I thought I was having a stroke or like an aneurysm or something. Dude, straight up. It was like just like the craziest thing. And like every little thing was like just making it worse. And Matt took me to the urgent care or whatever. It ended up just being like a really extreme like panic attack. But it was every little circumstance was just like building and building and building and building. And so yeah, that song straight up sent me to the hospital. But I got great takes out of it and I got a great story out of it. So it's kind of it's an
Yeah,
interesting one for sure.
and like I said, I'm not. Yeah, the bridge of Achilles' heel for me. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. Is it down to how hard you're trying? I'm not really sure, but
I think it
whatever.
was because, dude, I sang that part so many times, dude. Like
Yeah,
maybe more than anything on the record because I was just like, I know how I want it to sound and it's not quite there yet. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I was just like, boom, let's do it again. Boom, let's do it again. For like, I mean, we probably did that. Like, I think we came back to it like a couple days later, actually,
we
and
did.
we did it again.
But
So
yeah.
yeah,
But
it.
like, so to come back to your very first question, that's what Michael does. Do you know what I mean?
I do
Like,
crazy crazy
I
things.
sometimes kill myself for a song, but I always find that the best songs I write just fall out of the sky. But Michael knows what he wants and he will like go to hospital for it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And like I said, Achilles Heel is my favorite vocal performance. And oh fuck me, like the bridge on Achilles Heel, the way Michael sings it, like it's insane.
It was worth
And
going. It was worth going to urgent care for.
yeah, I would never ever wish that upon him. But you know, credit to Michael. Like it was amazing.
Well, it's great that you did not have an aneurysm or a stroke. So
I'm here today. I'm here
you're
today.
still
I,
here.
I live to
Imagine,
sing another song.
imagine that. We'd have to change it to Internet Friend, and I'd have to do the vocals. Be
Uh-oh.
terrible. We just watch our TikTok followers go down every day.
Oh my god.
Now, you've spoken of Matt Squire a whole bunch of times already. It is very wild that you reached out to him on a whim and he actually responded back.
I know.
We've actually had similar experiences several times with guests on our podcast, and
Yeah,
it's remarkable how taking a chance and wishing a positive outcome can result in someone actually getting back to you. So, what was
100%.
your overall experience like working with him?
Um, well, I'd say like how do see I don't even have words because if I think back to it now, it's still magical for me.
Right,
Like I'm gonna say something that might sound like a little bit arrogant, but it's not. I'm not meaning it in an arrogant way. But working behind the scenes in it was mainly dance music, even though I'm a punk kid, for you know the best part of 14 years. you get to the point where you're hanging around and you're getting phone calls from some pretty big people, and after a while you just kind of you recognize everyone's human, and that's cool, and you kind of become numb to it, right? And Michael's worked with huge producers before, I guess, because he was in a band. But for me, my heroes are people like Matt Squire. So when I went in, I was an absolute wreck. Like, I think I hit it pretty well, but
Yeah, you did.
I was like this because it's like, but Matt's great. Like, as soon as we went in, like, imagine, like, oh, dude, just imagine being in my position for 1 second, and you open the door, and the first thing you see on the left is the Panic at the Disco gold record. The first thing you see on the right is All Time Low. Do you know what I mean? It's just like that, and then 303 platinum, and like, and you're just like, how the fuck did I end up here? Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But the great thing about Matt is that he is so disarming. So I think I did a pretty good job of hiding my nerves. But after about 5 minutes, like, he had us joking around and we're talking about UFOs. And yeah, the first day was just all about kind of, listening to the tune, the demos we had, seeing if there was anything that we wanted to change or whatever, and just making a connection and being friends. And after that day, it was like, oh, he's just the best human ever. That was my experience.
Yeah, I agree. It was dope. Yeah, you walk into the room and it feels like you knew the guy for, like 10 years. It was
Yeah.
just that easy, which is great because you need that kind of thing in a studio so much. Like, being in the studio is so psychological, I guess, would be how I describe it. Like, it's all about a vibe. Like, if you're not like, you know, giving off like a good vibe, putting everybody in a good headspace, like making everybody feel comfortable, being vulnerable, all these things, then you're just not going to get the best record. And uh, he was just like, it was just so easy. You know what I mean? Like singing for the first day we went in, we did all the pre-post stuff. Like, I had to like just sing in front of him in the same room, no, like holding a mic, like we're just doing demo stuff. Like, I probably sounded horrible because I'm just like here, like doing my own thing, and I didn't feel uncomfortable doing that. Like, it was easy to do that because he made it easy,
Mm.
So I think that kind of just summed up the whole trip. It was just like the time there like flew by, and yeah, afterwards it was like 2 weeks that we were there. We were like we flew to California to like do some more stuff with another producer, a friend of mine, Courtney, who we've been working with for a while, Courtney Ballard.
Mm.
And like before we got to his studio, we were just driving around LA, just listening to the songs that we just did with Matt, and me and Ross were just both like, "Fuck! Like, we did that. That sounds so good." You know what I mean? Like, it was, I don't know, great 2 weeks flew by, and I feel like it's a great like first representation of the band. So I'm so happy we got to work with him.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah.
Now to deviate just a little bit, the Ashley Simpson cover, right? So great cover, but what I am curious about is how that cover came to be about. Did you consider other songs, or was it just immediately known Ashley Simpson?
Yeah. Okay. So that's a great question. Basically, like, we had like a list of songs, and like we had like a playlist of songs on Spotify that me and Ross would like add to, or I'd be like, oh, we should maybe like look at this song, and he'd add a song or whatever, and like we would just kind of go back and forth. But I mean, for me, like the way that we just put another cover song out a couple days ago from a band called Ash. It's called Burn Baby Burn. And the way that we did it for this EP and like the following stuff that we're gonna have coming up is that I got to choose a song and Ross got to choose a song. So I chose Pieces of Me. And the reason I did that is because since I've heard the song, I'm pretty sure I was listening to it like back when it came out too, but like I've like randomly rediscovered it over the years. And every time I've like found the song again, and I've put it on repeat like nonstop. Like, it's just like one of my favorite songs. Like, I don't listen to a lot of music. Ross knows this. I just don't. But when I find a song I love, I listen to it so much, and I sing it
Yeah.
around the house all the time. And Pieces of Me is one of those songs for me. It's always found a way back into my life, into my playlists, and I've just always loved the way it sounds, the way it makes me feel. So that's why I picked that song. And it's like perfect because like me and Rossy's vibe with the band is like 90s, 2000s pop culture. So what like there's no better time to do it. You know what I mean? So yeah, really stoked on how that one came out for sure.
Yeah, me too. It was a perfect pick for your voice as well, in my opinion.
I think so. I think it was good.
Yeah, you just mentioned that you don't listen to much music. So since you don't listen to music, what do you do? Like, do you collect things? Do you watch TV shows?
I do watch. I lately I've been watching a lot more TV. Me and my girlfriend just like find some like we watch a bunch of old series sometimes. Like she'll rewatch things and I'll watch it for the first time. Like right now we're watching Prison Break because it just got added to Netflix and she'd seen it before but I haven't. So yeah, we've been like binging that pretty hard. I play a lot of League of Legends. I'm kind of ashamed to admit
Lots
that I
of
play a
League of
lot of League
Legends.
of Legends. I'm a big League of Legends fan. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I think the reason why I don't listen to a whole bunch of music is because for a long time I was like working as a delivery driver, so I was just always listening to songs, like just like I always had something on. And yeah, there was a point in time where I just like stopped doing that. I was just driving in silence. And now a lot of times like I'll just sit in the car and just like not listen to anything just because I think it's kind of nice. Like I don't know. I just like don't choose to listen to music in my free time unless like someone's got to be like, "Hey, have you heard this new record by this band?" And I'll be like, "No, I should check that out." And then I just like won't do it until people like are like, "Yo, you really should listen to this." Like I was probably like a year late to Spirit Box. You know what I mean? Or like things like that where and it's like they're one of my favorite bands. Like I love their music, but yeah, it just takes a long time for me to sit down with something. But like I said earlier, like the songs that I do love, like I'll play the same record on repeat for like 4 or 5 months, and then I'll move on to another record and do the same thing. So I don't listen to a lot of music, but the music that I do listen to, I love a lot. I've been like all about the Sabrina Carpenter record lately. Like that's like that's it for me right now. I
Oh
love
yeah,
it so much.
you sent me that. I still haven't dug into that. I haven't had time.
You would love it, dude. It's so
I
good.
know. I'm
Yeah.
sure I will. I just need like the right moment to do it. You know what I mean? Like I've
Yeah.
been so busy like getting all the videos and artwork and stuff ready for the next release. I just haven't had a moment. So
We're gonna nerd out over it.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure we will. I
Yeah.
listened to that Bill Murray one though that you sent me.
Oh yeah, Bill Murray's dope too. That's another one that I kind of recently. I guess when their newest record came out, I was like
Mm.
jamming it. It's really good.
Yeah,
It is
yeah,
really good.
it's not really my thing, but it is. It's really good for what it
It
is.
and it's like completely its own thing too. Like that's you know what I mean. Like Bill Murray is Bill Murray, and that's
Yeah,
sick.
it's like they've got on that record that you sent me. It's like they've got a bunch of gimmicks in there, but they're not. But they don't come across as gimmicks. Does
Oh
that make sense?
dude, they're kind of like a meme. Like they're not the band's not a meme, but they're kind of a meme. You know what I mean? Like they do a lot of goofy stuff. Like if you look at their social media stuff, like their music videos are like so funny, dude. Like
Okay, all right.
so
Well,
like
I
the
didn't.
things that happen in there are like they're on purpose because it's like kind of funny, you know?
Oh,
Like
okay. So they do mean them to be a bit gimmicky in a comical way.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so for sure, 100%.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that 'cause I've never seen the videos. Oh, well,
go watch their content on social media. It's amazing, dude. It's so
okay, I
good.
will. I like them even more now because like comedy, like funny people, especially funny bands, is like my favorite thing ever. So
Yeah, for sure.
So I heard you guys do have a second EP already written.
do we?
That
I've
might be a
heard.
rumor.
I didn't write it. Did you?
Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about it or what fans can expect? And have
Uh,
you released a date or are you releasing a date soon?
when's what day is it today? When's this podcast going up?
Bad
It'll be
about
in
updating.
October. I know that much.
It'll
That's
be.
dope.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the new EP is done. Everything's there. We worked with Courtney Ballads this time around. He's also an amazing producer. What's some of the stuff that Courtney's done? He's done All Time Low. He's done a lot for State Champs.
Water
Yeah,
Parks, 5 Seconds of Summer.
5 Seconds of Summer. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not exclusively like I think he started kind of exclusively being more pop punk and rock. But these days, the pop punk stuff that he does, I believe he just does with like his friends. So it's cool that he considers us friends, which is nice. But yeah, he's kind of an all rounder. He's an amazing producer. So we did it with him. Um, and yeah, I think it's the next EP is more honing in on like what Internet Friends actually is. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think the first EP was more just about the songs and Michael's voice, and we learned a lot. Um, but in terms of like how it sounds and the mix down and the drums and the guitar tones and that kind of thing, it's it's great, but it's not really anything different. Do you know what I mean? It's just straight up great pop punk in my opinion. The next EP is, in my opinion, still great pop punk, but I think we've honed in more of like we've got our drum sound now, we've got our guitar tones. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. There's a song on that. There's a ballad, which is kind of cool. Well, I guess it's kind of a ballad-y song.
Yeah.
And there's one on there that's like a little different, but it's still Internet Friends. And then there's just two, in my opinion, just pop punk smashes. So yeah, yeah. I mean, super excited for everyone to hear it. So yeah,
Well, I'm excited to hear it. So
thank you. Well,
Chris
Chris
isn't.
is
No, I was kidding.
I'm never excited for anything ever in life.
Chris,
the-
Chris is looking up there at the clock, being like, "When are we going to be
no,
fucking?"
my friend is like sending me like a 911 text, like some
Oh,
sort of personal emergency, and I'm like, okay, what's up? Not a great time, but what's up?
Yeah.
oh,
All
Damn.
good. No, I'm excited for it too. There. Is that the right energy you need?
That was great.
Uh,
good.
so
So
I was gonna say your online profile state you're a pop punk band that's stuck in the 90s. You also have quite a bit of 90s heavy imagery in places. Even the merch kind of has that throwback late 90s, early 2000s graffiti style, which I liked.
oh,
What were some of your favorite things from the 90s?
um, climbing trees, playing my Game Boy, Pokemon, Oasis, soccer, being outside, no iPhones. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was.
Pokemon and boy bands.
Oh, boy, yeah, boy bands and girl bands. Sorry, that should have been number one. Actually, no, Oasis is number one. Boy bands and girl bands is number two for me. But yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
great time, and like I feel, like me and Michael were only born like 1 year apart. So I was
Mhm.
born in 90, and you were born in 91. But it's not like we were born a full year apart. It was only a few months, but still, like I feel so privileged and lucky that I grew up when I did, and I was born when I did. um if I look back at like music and culture from other decades, like like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, there's great things about all of them. I mean, like if you're going out and you're of that age of like partying and stuff, my god, does the 80s look fun. But like I feel like people that were born around the same time as me and Michael, this is why I feel so like thankful that I was born when I did. I think we were some of the last people to experience what life was like pre-internet, but also post-internet. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because as soon as the internet started and reality TV culture took over, everything changed. Do you know what I mean? Um, so yeah, I think just yeah, the 90s were just a real magical time to grow up in. So yeah.
I mean,
I've got
technically I grew up in both 80s
Well,
and
what
90s.
what year were you?
I was born in 1983.
83. Oh wow,
Nice.
yeah. You really had the best of both worlds.
Yep. I'm an
Uh,
old lady. I don't look like I'm an old lady, but I am.
you, you, you definitely don't.
Chris is slightly an old man.
Slightly an old man. Yeah. I was 86.
Nice.
He's
So
a
Nice.
little closer to the 90s than me.
so here's a question since we're talking about the 90s, just a random one. What do you think was the last song you downloaded on LimeWire?
Oh my god.
Holy shit. Can we
I,
just take a moment to
I,
acknowledge how much of an amazing question that is?
that's a great question. That's crazy. You want to know what's even crazy? I don't even think I ever had LimeWire. I think I had like offshoots of it. Like y'all remember BearShare?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
It was
think I used BearShare.
because I remember it obviously started with Napster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And
For whatever
Kazaa.
Yeah, yeah, and then there was Kazaa. Oh my god, I remember like all the logos, like the stars for the Kazaa, like, and
Yeah.
then there was Kazaa, BearShare, and LimeWire, and LimeWire was like the one.
Holy
Uh,
crap. I had to like
Yeah.
really think about this.
But like those other ones sprung up because if you remember, Napster used to be free, and then they
Yeah.
went behind a paywall once like shit hit the fan, and then
Yep.
all the others popped up like, oh yeah, well watch this fucking shit. And
yeah,
I remember doing LimeWire on my 1997, computer, desktop computer.
Yeah.
and then,
Definitely
wanna
gave it a
say-
virus. Definitely gave it a
Yeah, there's
virus.
no question about that for sure. You're always taking a risk for sure.
well, if I'm not mistaken, LimeWire was still like LimeWire and BearShare and Kazaa was still going in the early 2000s.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure the last thing I probably would have downloaded on LimeWire would have been just anything I could find from a band called Funeral for a Friend. Have you ever heard of that band?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. They were they were the first band that made me want to go like I want to write songs because like not like them like Internet Friends doesn't really sound anything like Funeral for a Friend, but they were the first band that I remember hearing, and I was like, I want to write stuff that to make other people feel how Funeral for a Friend songs make me feel. I remember vividly thinking that, and I was obsessed with them, and I kind of still am, but you know. But yeah, it would have been around 2002. It just would have been anything I could find from Funeral for a Friend, I think. What a great question, Chris.
It's a good question. Funny enough, I think I want to say I was like pretty much exclusively listening to hip hop back then. So it was probably like D12 or like some random Outcast stuff.
Oh, true. True.
Cause yeah, I was like big into Eminem and Ludacris and like all that.
Yeah.
Like I was like real big into hip hop. So I think that's probably it. I remember having like, do you guys remember those? It wasn't a Walkman, but it was like a mini disc player. Do you remember? There was like a little like floppy disk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
remember those.
That
Mhm.
I remember having one of those, and yeah, I had like D12 and Outcast on it, and it got confiscated at my middle school. And my principal listened to it and told my parents, your son shouldn't be listening to this kind of music," which is crazy to think about. Like he went through it, which is nuts. But yeah, I remember that being a thing. So that's probably what it was. It was probably from BearShare or something.
I think I still have a burned CD of songs that I found from
Mhm.
LimeWire or something. I think I still have it.
That's tight. That's
Yeah. I was
that should
gonna
be in a
say
museum.
the last CD I remember burning, it was like a mix. It must have been like '05 or something like that. I was holding on for as long as I could apparently. And it was like everything from like Thrice to Usher. It was like the craziest mixed CD.
That's tight though. I love that.
I'm gonna find my CD and I'm gonna see what the track listing is on it.
Yeah.
I'd be curious.
Yeah. Oh my! So the Funeral for a Friend thing, Chris just brought back a memory. It wasn't Funeral for a Friend. It was Thrice, Artist in the Ambulance. That album.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember that Story of the Year when they had their first record come out. It got leaked, and I was like all about that because I'm in love. They're my favorite band. So
Story of the Year was the first band I saw at Warped Tour.
I saw
Like,
them 03, the first year they went.
Yeah.
And that was the first year I went. So
Yeah. Nice.
That's cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I remember. Did you guys? So with like LimeWire and stuff, like it wasn't just music. Like, do you
No.
remember downloading like music videos and live videos? Right? Do you remember that? So like,
I feel
used
like I only downloaded music.
really,
Same.
I downloaded. I didn't really download music videos, but I downloaded like so many live videos, of like Blink and Newfound Glory. But that's how I found Story of the Year because I downloaded a live video of this band, and like, do you remember? Like, I mean, do they still do it? I saw them like 3 months ago. No, they don't. They don't still do it now, but they did the backflips and like the guitar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember they were playing. I could probably find it on YouTube, but they were playing like some Pepsi like TRL thing. It was huge,
Mhm.
and I remember watching it, and then like they're doing backflips. I'm just like, this is blowing my mind. And then yeah, from that video onwards, I became a huge Story of the Year fan, because of those live videos. They're amazing. What a great
Yeah.
band.
I'm pretty sure that Ryan is the only one in the band that could probably do a backflip still.
Which one's that? Is he
He's the
guitar?
guitarist. Yeah, lead
Right.
guitar.
Yeah, he's very good looking. uh, so
Yes.
if you're listening, Ryan, and my wife isn't, call me. Yeah, they're sick. I saw them. I saw them in Brisbane a few months ago, and they still sound great.
Oh yeah. They're
Yeah,
still kicking and they're still great.
yeah,
They're always going to
really,
be great.
yeah.
Their new album is great if you haven't listened to it.
Oh, I've got yeah, of course, yeah, got it on vinyl.
Gotta make sure. We know
Yeah.
Michael probably hasn't though.
I haven't. I listened to some stuff that Ross has showed me, and I think it's very good. I liked it. I did like
But the
it.
thing is, because I would have so much music to show you, but because like I know you don't listen to a lot of music, I have to like pick. Do you know what I mean?
You have to be very selective.
I have to be very selective. You know what I mean? So that I didn't send you the new Story of the Year album.
Yeah. I have friends
Yeah.
that send me music dude, they're like, have you listened to the new like so and so? It's really sick, dude. You need to listen to it. Like all the time. I like the same couple of friends, and I'm like, oh really? That's cool. I'll check it out. And then I just don't do it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get better about it because I don't mean to be like that. I just forget. I'm
It
not in the habit
happens.
of listening to music. I would like some new music to listen to though. So
Now here's the question: do you think they send you more music to listen to because they know you make music? Do you think people would send you less music if you didn't make music?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I think that's probably true. Maybe I would extend that out to like even if I was like not like in a band, but I was working in music, I'd probably still get the same stuff sent to me. But yeah, I think it just depends on like my friend group because like a lot of my friends that I am like really good friends with now, I've met through like the industry or like touring or things like that. So we bond over music, amongst other things too. But so yeah, like I think that's like the main reason why I get sent stuff is just because that's where like our roots are.
Yeah.
So we did notice in your link tree that you have a MySpace link, right? Which I think went to Hey Space or Space A or something like that. How did you guys decide to make that page?
So remember I said in the story I told at the beginning of the podcast that instead of being able to go back to America when I was stuck in the UK, I managed to get to Australia. To get to Australia, I had to go through New Zealand, and just because it was festival season in New Zealand, like over New Year's, and they had like a certain amount of spaces for like people like artists and stuff. And I'm not going to say too much, but I didn't play, but I managed to get a spot. So I was able to go through New Zealand, but to do that, you had to spend 2 weeks of hotel quarantine in New Zealand, and then you had to come out and do 2 weeks in public, and then there was what do they call it, like some kind of like special gateway between like New Zealand and Australia, just from Auckland to Melbourne, if you had been checked. So the Space Hay thing came about because I was in hotel quarantine by myself for 2 weeks, and then I'm just scrolling, and then I just saw it, and people were posting about it, and I was like, oh my god, like I've got all the time in the world right now. I don't feel like writing a song today. I'm gonna code a MySpace page. So yeah, it kind of stayed there and it stuck. And I thought, why not? We'll just put it in the link tree. It'd be funny.
And were you guys into MySpace when it was big in its heyday?
Oh yeah, big
Of course.
time.
Who
I was
wasn't?
so into MySpace.
Who wasn't? Yeah.
I loved.
Well,
I was like,
in 2002, I guess.
I was on MySpace like I feel like from the second I got home from school.
Yeah.
As long as they could be on it, I would just be like, yeah. I have friends that I met through MySpace that, yeah, I've been in touch with on and off over the years. It was such a cool time. Yeah.
Do you still
Yeah,
remember what your background was?
I don't remember what my background was. No, I don't.
Mine
I
was
remember
definitely Pikachu's.
that's dope. I love that. I remember like the layouts of like the bands that I was in, the band page layouts that I had, like to the T, like I see it.
Yeah.
And that was the coolest thing about MySpace was just the amount of like customization you could do. Like bands, like it was such a big deal to like buy a custom layout for your page.
Yeah,
You know what I
of
mean?
course.
Like that was so sick because everything looks so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It was just such a different beast, MySpace, you know?
It was. And do you remember I was talking about like the whole growing up around the like pre-internet, post-internet thing?
Yeah.
It for me, like like Michael just said, he would like rush home to like get on MySpace. Like I have memories of being well, because I was obviously living in England when I was a kid. I have memories of being on holiday or vacation in like France, which is, not far, but they would have computers in the lobby where you would put like a euro coin in and you'd have like 5 minutes. And I remember being like, Mum, I need another euro just to go on MySpace, just to like see if I had any messages. And like it was almost like I like we recognize it now because we're older. We like with what I'm talking about is like Instagram and stuff. But for me, looking back now, I realize that like rushing home from school to check MySpace or like me being on holiday, being like, "Mom, I need a euro," so I like a crack addict. Like that was the original like dopamine rush for kids. Do you know what I mean? And that's
Totally.
so crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And then now it's the same thing with like I guess Instagram likes or Twitter retweets or whatever. Um and like I'm a kind of I mean Michael runs the socials, but I'm a kind of post and ghost kind of guy. I love chatting to fans or people that message us saying I love your music. I love getting to know them and saying, "Hey, where are you from?" and having a conversation just because I love people. Um, but I kind of I guess I'm old enough now to look back on that and realize that like this is not good for my brain. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Uh, but MySpace was the original of that, and it's really crazy to think about.
But
It is.
nothing felt as good as logging into MySpace and seeing new message, new comment, new friend request. It was
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
sweet.
It hit
Yeah.
different. It hit real different for
So
sure.
you think think about like how much of a dopamine rush we got from MySpace with like, oh, you got a new message or you got a new comment, right? And and then think about how overloaded like teenagers' brains are today with Instagram, which is when it comes to like that dopamine, like addictive, almost like crack addict kind of rush. It's like MySpace a million. Like
Hmm.
Oh yeah. I pretty
it's
much run our socials on Instagram.
Yep.
yeah,
I got to the point where it was like all the notifications coming through for the podcast Instagram were too much. I turned off notifications
Yeah.
on Instagram. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. Like between my 9 to 5 and then like family stuff, like I couldn't keep diverting my attention. I'm like, nope.
yeah,
Yeah, I get it for sure. It's
all over
I still get excited though when I'm like, oh, someone actually commented on something.
it. Yeah,
yeah.
no, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think some people like it's not a blanket thing. Some people can handle it, some people can't. I guess I'm just one of those people that can't. Um, like for example, with we're going way off topic. Sorry, guys, but like my personal MySpace, personal Instagram, for example, like I haven't posted on that in. Well, I posted a picture from my wedding day last year, but apart from that, I haven't posted on it really or been active in a couple years because I got to the point with that where I was realizing like I started questioning myself like why are you posting this particular photo and why are you writing this like who are you trying to impress who are you doing this for, do you know what I mean? And that was the point where I really started analyzing my behavior and I was like, okay, I'm one of those people that can't handle this and this is not good for my brain. Like this is not a good path for me to go down. um yeah, and so it's just yeah, like I can't really handle it. Like when it comes to personal stuff. But I guess when it comes to band stuff, like that's a little bit different because it's not we've got something to give and it's fun, do you know what I mean? But when
Yeah.
it's like personal stuff, yeah, I don't know, like, I just, yeah, it just wasn't good for my brain. And I try and look after my brain as much as I can, because I'm sure you guys have noticed from the podcast that I am fucking nuts. So yeah.
He's nuts.
So compared to MySpace days, how do you feel social media now influences how DIY and indie artists promote their music?
It's everything now, honestly. Like, I mean, you have to be there. I feel like it's otherwise I don't think there's much of a fair shot. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of people build like crazy careers off of this stuff now, and like, and I think that the music industry too. And Ross, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's always. I mean, we know this. It's way more than just the music. Like having good music, just it isn't. It's not gonna do enough for you. You know what I mean? You have to have like the full package and all this stuff. And now with like vertical video and all that, it kind of just like makes that even more prevalent, I guess.
Mm.
But it's one of those things where it also gives you an opportunity to reach people that you've never had. Like TikTok like really changed things, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's a really cool thing. Like I think that people can just be like, oh, like I want to be in a band, and they can figure TikTok out, and they can like get eyes on their project that they would have never gotten like 5 or 6 years ago. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
I think it's great in a lot of ways. And to kind of go with what Ross is saying too, with like the dopamine hits and all that stuff, like it's one of those. I feel like it's almost a double edged sword in a lot of senses, because it makes things easier. But then also, like when, let's say you have a video that does really really well, and then like the videos that follow that don't do as well, then you're kind of like, oh, what's wrong with me now? You know what I mean? Like you start questioning it, and like I don't know. It's just one of those. It's one of those weird things. It's definitely a weird time to be in music, but overall, I think that like TikTok and content and all that stuff has been, uh, it's changed things a lot. But I think that there's a lot of good in it, as long as you can kind of keep yourself in check. You know what I mean? And stop comparing yourself to other people. That's like the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's the big. It's being self-aware, and yeah, exactly that kind of thing. I think yeah, I think overall it's a great thing, because I think the biggest difference is back in like the MySpace days, for example, if you wanted to get your music heard and you wanted to get fans, I mean, the most famous person that ever did this properly was Ed Sheeran. Like, you get in a van and you tour relentlessly, whether it's a tiny bar with 3 people in it, or somehow you get on the bill with someone else that has 500 people there, and you go out and you work. You say hi to everyone. You get email addresses. Do you know what I mean? Now I don't think you need to do that, because you can build your audience online, and you don't need to get in a van and get everyone's email addresses. You know what I mean? That's the coolest thing about it. I think in terms of what it's done to actual music, I don't know. That's actually, yeah. Let's not go there, because I'll start ranting. But like they're if you, I think the biggest thing that people should realize, in my humble opinion, is that if you've got something to sell, like let's talk about it in the sense of an artist, right? Because that's what we're talking about. But I think it applies to other things. If you've got something to sell or promote, the sooner that you recognize it's a game, the better off you'll be. Do you know what I mean? Um, and you don't connect it to your personality and make it like an identity thing. It's like, oh, I'm playing a game. I'm trying to entertain people. I'm trying to make people laugh. Um, and if you know how to do it, like Michael said, you can. There's been so many people that have made massive careers off it, like Charlie Puth, for example. Like, what an amazing guy. Like, do you know what I mean? But on the flip side of that, if you don't know what you're doing, and you kind of fluke it, that's how you get the TikTok star who's big for a month and has a #1 Billboard hit, and then you never hear from him again, and then, you know
Yeah.
3 months later he's back living at home with his parents. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's you like going into it, like, I think you just got to be really aware of all your moves, because like I said, it's a game, and the sooner you realize it's a game, the better.
That's just it, Chris. We're just not playing the game right when it comes to TikTok.
Definitely it.
We are
Although
terrible on TikTok.
I
That's
would
for
I would
sure.
have to reinstall the app on my phone to even play the game.
What I feel like once you kind of figure it out, like the little tricks and what works for you, and you just do it over and over and over again, and that's kind of just it.
The only
That's
thing
just
that ever
TikTok.
worked for us on TikTok is a cat on a dryer that we stole from someone else and reposted.
That's tight though. I like cats. Cats are good. That's a good video.
That's
I'm
funny.
sure.
That's the only one.
Yeah.
All right, we're down to our last question.
Mhm.
It's the most important question of all. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Triceratops. There's no reason. I just think they're tight. I also just like I love the name too, the way it flows off the tongue. That's the biggest thing for me. But whenever someone asks me that question, that's the first one that comes out of my. You think T-Rex for a second because T-Rexes are crazy and they're kind of like badass, but like I'm not gonna be generic. I'm gonna go a little bit off. You know what I mean? So that's my answer.
Uh-oh, Rossy got up. He's got his Jurassic
I
Park.
can't even see it. There's a glare.
You got to talk.
T-Rex. Sorry, T-Rex is mine.
Lame.
Not lame. It's a baby T-Rex. Look at how cute he is.
It's. Did you hear my spiel?
No, no.
Yeah. Lame.
I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
I always liked Brachiosaurus.
Are they? Oh, there's so many good ones to choose from. Brachiosaurus is the one with the huge long neck, right? Like the first one you see in Jurassic Park 1.
Yeah, the one with the hump on the top of the head, because the Brontosaurus is different.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Sorry. Wow, you're a dinosaur nerd. I love it.
Not that nerdy, but I do know some dinosaurs.
Yeah. What's yours, Chris?
Ankylosaurus.
He's like,
Is
what?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Is that a real dinosaur?
Yeah,
Did
that's the one that's like has armor over the top on its shell. It's got spikes on the sides and the club tail.
I'm pretty sure you're describing a Pokemon. I think you just made that up. You definitely just made that up.
I mean, there probably is a Pokemon that looks like an Ankylosaur.
There is. You're
Probably.
describing Sandshrew.
It kind of does look like Sandshrew.
A little bit. Isn't Sandshrew more of like a hedgehog with armor?
Isn't he supposed to be an armadillo?
I think he is an
Something like
armadillo.
that.
Who knows? Maybe Ankylosaurs, devolved into armadillos.
I'm learning. So these are two dinosaurs I've never heard of. Like, wow. I'm gonna have to go do some research, and maybe next time we do a podcast, my answer might change. I'll be like, "You're so right."
Yeah. So, Ankylosaur. If you watched Jurassic World,
Yeah.
Ankylosaur is the one that the Indominus flips over to get to its belly because it can't get to its shell when they're out in the gyrospheres in the field.
I remember the scene. It's the one with Chris Pratt, right? And he's
Yeah.
in the. Yeah, I remember the scene, but I can't remember it well enough to
Well,
picture the dinosaur.
Time
but,
to do some
yeah.
research. You're gonna have to look these up.
Okay. Okay, I'll go and do it right now, guys.
So I did have one more question. How long have you been in Australia?
How long have I been like actually living here?
Yeah.
Just under 2 years.
So this is a very left field question. Is it weird having the holidays in the middle of summer?
Yeah. Yeah. Everything's weird, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Australian Christmas. Like, do you guys have like proper Christmases? Like, they're cold, maybe it snows.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have that in Texas, Michael? You must do, right? It's
No.
cold. Huh?
Snow?
Has it snowed in Austin before?
Yeah, it has, but
Yeah.
it's rare. It's really, really rare. I mean, it gets cold. It gets cold here, but like, yeah, I remember growing up, like, because I grew up in Houston, which is like a couple hours away from here. I think I saw snow like one time, maybe twice, before I graduated high school. So it's like
Yeah.
it's super, and like when we got snow, it was like barely anything, and it didn't stick. You know what I mean? So
It didn't stay because it was just too warm still.
still too warm. Yeah,
You got to
Yeah.
travel north to get more snow.
true.
Right. But yeah, like Australian Christmas is middle of the summer. So it's super weird.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like a classic Australian like Christmas day is, I mean, you wake up and you do presents like anyone else, but you're in shorts and a t-shirt, and it's so fucking hot. And then it's like tradition to go to the beach. So Christmas Day, like the beaches are just full. And then when you come back, you have like in England, we would have like Christmas lunch or whatever around like 2 p.m. And Christmas lunch in England is kind of similar to Thanksgiving, I guess. Like you have like a bit like a big turkey or something like that. Um, in Australia, Christmas lunch is seafood, like because it's so hot. Do you know what I mean?
True.
And everything's cold, so it's like salads and seafoods and so yeah, it's super weird, dude. But I kind of have to deal with it. Otherwise, my wife was like, "I'm gonna leave you." So you know,
It's summer Christmas from now on.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, she won that one.
She won that one.
Yeah,
As she should. As she
as
should.
she did. Yeah, I don't
Happy
deserve her.
wife, happy life.
There you
Apparently, yeah.
Is there anything else you guys would like to add to anybody listening, to the fans? Anything that you'd like to tell the world before we wrap it up?
I don't think so. Other than if you've made it this far in the podcast, you really need to get a hobby. And
I will say statistically,
I'm joking, I'm joking.
one or two people may have heard you say that statistically.
All right, cool. Well, those one or two people are now going, man, I need to do research on dinosaurs as well.
Right? I feel like when I listen to podcasts, I have to listen to the whole thing. Otherwise, I feel like I'm a quitter.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, fair enough, me too. But yeah, we're Internet Friends, new pop punk band, duo, whatever you want to call it. You can find us on all socials at Internet Friends. Friends spelled Frendz.
I didn't know what he was gonna say. I didn't know what he was gonna say. I thought maybe he'd be British about it.
Yeah, usually I say Z, and he's like, "What's Z?" Yeah, find us on Spotify. And then if you like our music, give us a follow, drop us a DM. We love to hear from new people, and yeah, new EP coming soon.
That's just a rumor, though.
That's just a rumor, guys.
It's
It's a
just a
rumor.
rumor. Yeah, it's just a rumor.
A rumor we heard.
So
A rumor, yeah.
take that if
Yeah.
you want. For what
If
it
you
is.
want,
I don't know.
tell everyone or don't tell anyone. It's just a rumor.
Well, thanks so much for coming on, guys.
Thank you for having
Thanks for having us. This is a blast.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We try to
yeah.
have fun on our podcast, so
I like
otherwise
it.
there's no who wants to be so formal, right?
Yeah, no, we like to talk. Yeah, we went on a lot of tangents, and I loved the tangents. It was fun. So this is definitely a great conversation.